Never say never, right? One thing that I love about gardening is the fun of trying new crops. There's a thrill of growing something you would never see at your grocery store. But sometimes they don't work out and you don't enjoy them as much as you thought. Or, as you grow up as a gardener, you learn crops that just don't work for you. While there are certainly crops I'm skipping this year, like black-eyed peas, trombonzino squash, loofah, and dry beans, that doesn't mean I'm never growing them again. But there are some crops that, unless something radically changes my mind, I have no intention of growing again. Now, don't take this list as you should never grow these crops, because as you'll see, there are some benefits to each one of them, but you'll also see what my experience was and why I've chosen to most likely never put them in the rotation again. Number one is actually one that I talked to a friend about recently, and that is cucamelons. Cucamelons, also known as the Mexican sour gherkin, or a fun trend a few years ago. These grape-sized cucumbers promised a delicious, productive snack while growing on sprawling, delicate vines. For me, they did live up to some of that promise. They were productive and sprawling, and the plant itself was gorgeous. But the fruit left a lot to be desired, at least in my opinion. I didn't love the tangy, sweet, sour flavor, and their size didn't lend a whole lot of options besides eating them whole. I did try pickling them, but I really wasn't a fan of that either. So while cucamelons were fun to grow, and they might be a fantastic option, especially if you have young kids, I doubt they'll ever make a return in my garden. Number two is the red noodle bean. Noodle beans, also known as long beans, boast a striking appearance in the garden, whether you grow the red kind like I did or the green. Like cucamelons, they were fun to grow. Besides their beauty, I grew them also because they are more heat tolerant than other pole beans. For sure, they produced all season without stopping production even in the middle of our Arkansas summers, unlike other pole beans. They were also stringless, which was very nice, but our family didn't really like the texture of the bean for eating quality. Now granted, we only grow green beans for canning, and I did can these beans. They were beautiful in the jars, but especially when I canned, they took on a leathery texture that wasn't as appetizing as a green bean. This texture wasn't as pronounced when I added them fresh to occasional stir fries, and the taste was just fine. But again, since we don't eat beans in this way typically, I decided to stick to my regular green beans. For a family who likes eating green beans fresh though, this would be a very fun bean to grow. But for us, we haven't grown it in several years, and we haven't missed it. Before we get to number three, if you're a beginning gardener and you aren't sure which seeds to directly sow in the garden and which ones to start indoors or buy as transplants from the garden center, now through February 3rd, I'm giving away my popular mini course, Before You Sow. You can watch the short videos, listen on the go, or read the ebook, however you learn the best. Just go to journeywithjill.net/beforeyousow and enter the code FREE25 to get this $39 value course for free. We'll put the link in the description. Number three is tomatillos. I grew this salsa verde ingredient for a few years, especially when I was determined to grow as much of our own food as possible. My husband and I loved this red salsa alternative, and we enjoyed homemade salsa verde from these fresh little fruits. But honestly, they were a lot of work. Not to grow necessarily, but the process of actually taking them from harvest to processing them inside. It took time peeling the sticky outer layer of each individual fruit, and the salsa verde itself took time to prepare. And because the recipe we found that we loved the most was not safe to can, it only provided us with a few jars in the middle of the summer. Ultimately, it was just a lot of work for what we got. One year, I decided to skip growing them just to see if we would miss them. That garden space was used for other crops, and the time spent processing was diverted to make shelf-stable salsa that would last us all year. That turned out to be perfectly fine. Whenever my husband craves salsa verde, we buy a jar and save the garden space and time for other garden fresh products. Hopefully you'll see that these crops that are on my never again list are very particular to me and what my family enjoys or doesn't. You may love one or all three of these, or you may want to try them just because they all have their benefits, and honestly, they're all fun to grow. But eventually, I think we all land on our list of, well, that was fun, but I'm not going to grow that again crops. Do you have any that would make your never again list? I would love to hear from you in the comments. And to hear which crops I skipped entirely last year and why, you'll enjoy this video. And don't forget to go grab your free mini course Before You Sow using code FREE25 before February 3rd.